Heidi ho neighbors, and welcome back to Dan's Pro Shop, where everything's made up and the instructions don't matter. I had a comment to one of my previous videos about torches, and somebody asked me, hey, what is a good, safe, and appropriate industry standard way to repair hose lines if and when they get damaged or leaking, break, whatever? Well, there actually is a good and proper way to repair a torch hose without replacing the whole thing. So let's take a look at the bench here and see what we got going on. First things first, please excuse the mess. Anybody that's got a workbench knows that this is just a collect-all for garbage. So if you take a look here, over the years I've accumulated myself a little kit for doing exactly this repair. Inside here we have all the appropriate fittings, splices, couplers, heck, even some spare flashback arresters. If you guys know how important these things are, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's start in the back and work our way forward. These things, if you guys don't know, these are called Oetikers, or crimp style hose clamps. These things, in my opinion, are the best way to do permanent hose repairs. What happens here is these slide over the hose, and then you have a special pair of pliers that crimp these little tabs, and they stay that tight. They don't loosen up like regular worm clamps. That being said, we move up and we have regular style worm clamps because these things don't fit every application, but I use them as much as I can. Coming up to the next row here, we have all brass fittings, because when we're talking about torches, a lot of things can be combustible, and these things don't corrode, break, rust, and everything like normal galvanized or steel fittings. Brass is an absolute must-have. So these things right here are double-sided hose barb. So whenever you cut a hose, you can splice it correctly and then crimp it down with these previously talked about Oetikers. To the right here, we have these fancy little things. These are just like the splices, but they're one-ended. If you see here, this is kind of like a JIC fitting for a hydraulic system. This is like a compression fitting specifically made for gases. These connect in to these. So once you've put your barb onto your hose, this goes inside of the collar and indexes with the female part of that fitting and makes an airtight, safe for fuel gas fitting specifically made for torches. So for this demonstration, we're going to use polyurethane clear hose. This is not a fuel gas hose that you would use for a torch. Do not use this. This is strictly for example purposes only, so you can see the barb inside the hose and exactly what's going on during this repair. I have one side put together already because, you know, TV magic, we can edit this. So this is what it would look like whenever it's all put together. The hose goes all the way up to this stop edge here, and then you crimp that Oetiker clamp over top of the barbs to secure this line onto the fitting. Let's see what that looks like on the other half. So we take our other half of the hose and the one that we've already got the barb on and simply just insert until that fitting reaches the shoulder. This is what you're going for. The only thing you have is the shoulder exposed in the center. Once you have your two hoses in the correct location, then you install your Oetiker clamp over top of the barbs, and that's when you crimp it. These pliers here are specifically made to do this exact job. You can tell that they are blunted so they won't cut the clamp. All they do is crimp. Put the crimp in the correct location and give her a squeeze. Both sides evenly until you feel an appropriate amount of pressure. You want these ears to almost touch but not be completely. That means that this thing remains under tension. And this is what your finished repair would look like. Just imagine this on a fuel gas hose or an oxygen hose. But this is a perfectly acceptable industry standard way to repair torch lines. Well guys, I know this is a quick one, but honestly it was a really good comment and a lot of people don't know that this is an option out there. In my travels, I've done this hundreds of times to never have an issue. These things work incredibly well. They are kind of expensive to have a stock like I have here, but it's well worth it. Whenever you look at pricing brand new hose sets, this is definitely the way to go. So if you guys are interested in things like this, drop a comment and a thumbs up. Let me know. Until next time.